And we're back. Okay, so
thank you for sticking around.
Yeah,
for
this will be
NPR moment of technical difficulties.
This will be the bonus episode. This is still.
We have to say something that later someone else is going to be like, "What the hell are they talking about?"
Can you believe that gorilla ran through here
That
and knocked
was
everything
the
over?
episode 1.0001 bonus episode.
So, okay, we are in fact live here. I see you making me laugh hilariously. The camera angle may have slightly changed because
technical difficulties.
Yeah, we had the GoPro over here. We had to pull another GoPro out. It wanted to like update and stuff. It's crazy. It's this technology stuff. You know, it's supposed to make our lives easier, man. Okay, so what I told you to do that you didn't do, which was get another drink.
I have to ride a motorcycle.
Oh, is that what you were planning on? You're planning on getting home via motorcycle?
How else was I going to get home?
Oh, we got like a 4-wheeled thing. Okay, don't get mad at me. Okay, we'll ride tomorrow. Okay, then fine.
What did you think which one would I have picked?
Which one? Oh, you'd prefer to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we can always come back. So it doesn't matter. But you've still got about that quarter beer, maybe a fifth of a beer this time.
That just sounds a little bit more like
alcohol.
Yeah, you got a fifth of hard root beer. By the way, I would love to see in the comments someone give me some good suggestions for locally available because I tried to go locally available and
it's silly.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It is fine. It tastes a lot like alcohol at first, and then it tastes like nothing like alcohol later. But that's how it goes. Okay.
It tastes a lot like nothing right now.
Okay, so we were finishing up your story, I think.
Oh, I have no idea where I was with that. Not at all.
Anyway, those kids bought their bike and we're excited about it. The other thing, okay, you talked about flavor of the week, which for you is V85. That's a fun surprise.
What did you think I was going to say?
Oh, I guess I don't know. I never thought about it, but I never guessed.
You did.
I have no idea.
You asked the question, but you didn't know.
I did notice you took the V85 the other day. Someone took a test ride. We did so many
I rode
test
it
rides.
5 times today.
The weather is so nice right now here in Columbus. It's like, I don't know, 75 degrees or something. And
I had a hoodie and a flannel, and I always wear pants, but, pants. I just think it's important.
It is? Guys, she does have pants on, so. What?
That's a topic for a whole nother live about the number of people who get really excited when they see me in shorts.
Oh, nobody.
Kayla.
That's nobody. I'm not saying
and
nobody
Elise.
like that. I just
at AMA they were like, "Oh my God, you're wearing shorts!"
Yeah, AMA is a cool event.
1,000 degrees. Okay,
always the hottest weekend of the year.
I will make it a shorts exception.
It's vintage
AMA.
days, is what it is.
And camping, but that was the same day. It was 1,000 degrees, even though it was 2 hours west. It didn't change anything.
No, it shouldn't, based on how time and space works.
We got 48 views on the first 3 quarters.
Thanks everybody
of this.
for watching. I'm open to. We're just starting this whole thing. It's just hopefully it is what we're going for, because what we're going for is just a fun, not so structured hangout. It's the end of our week. I know it's the beginning of some people's week because it's like Sunday night and they're going to work on Monday. But for us, we're closed Monday and Tuesday, so this is it for the week, and we're kind of just checking in with you and with each other and saying what happened, and
we are back. People can see it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad that people stuck with us because, man, and I sort of have done stuff like this, like
I've been told to keep my phone away from the sound.
Yeah. Zach mentioned that, and I had a friend in here who's like very
technically competent.
Yeah, with
I'm
this
sorry,
exact thing.
Everyone. I am not the technically competent.
You're the talent. But
I just show up, put on the headphones, and start talking.
So what you're great at is photography, but this is not like the smallest amount of this is photography.
Zach, look. Zach's comment is, the guy in the background is a little weird.
That's good. That's a good one. So we had joked last time about how we heard a noise and you went to investigate, and I was like, what if you don't come back and we get murdered?
Yeah, we sent me out into the dark shop.
You're the tough one. Okay, so speaking of, I had teased this earlier, but let's talk about this. So we have a friend, Brandon, who works here, and he was here. It was kind of late, and I was like 9:30.
He's also a technically competent human
He was
being.
an IT guy. This is very common for like motorcycle people, or like sometimes
I'm the only one in this
people.
building that can't troubleshoot technology.
If the
Okay?
internet goes down,
I'm the one
everyone's
that can. I can fight the guy who's trying to break in a zombie apocalypse. I'm not the
Nicole?
one that can run routers and
We
shit.
do not need the internet in a zombie apocalypse. I don't know
why-
what kind of zombie apocalypse you have. But
That's why my only skill is keeping us alive from the brawn perspective. I do not have any of
and
the
we
brains.
all appreciate that. We love being alive. Okay,
God.
so kick the thing. So how much is anyway? So
That's how I'm going to protect us. Kicking
thank
the
you.
thing.
Kick the zombies. Okay, so Brandon's here. He rode his motorcycle. That's only relevant because I go outside to lock the door, and I open the door a little bit to you have to open it to lock the latch, and then
Which we talked about this design yesterday, about the fact that that's the exact reason why
Yeah,
having
it
to
is kinda
have the
dumb.
key on your person and go outside the door.
yeah, but that is kind of dumb if you think about it, because if someone's coming up, I can't lock the door and
No,
be like, oh
you-
my god,
no,
don't come in. I
you-
have to go out and
yes,
turn it.
That's
actually really dumb.
That's exactly why Brandon and I were talking about the fact that no, it was Zach and I yesterday while
you
we were
could
doing
hold it really hard. Is
Yes,
about all
can I
could do.
hold it?
Yeah.
I can bar the door
That's
closed.
crazy. I
That's
never
it.
thought about that.
There is no
I've
no
never
way
thought
to
about
bar
that.
the door from the inside.
Yeah. Huh.
It's
No,
a pull
if it
out.
pulls, I think you could put something like a big enough bar, and it couldn't pull forward. Maybe.
No. That handle's on the outside of the door.
Oh, and this is just
It's a push.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. There probably is not. There's not no way, but it is glass. But anyway, so I go out. You're killing my surprise about what I saw out there. So I go in there, and some guy is sitting on Brandon's motorcycle, and I'm like, and I just literally had a moment of that's not happening, and just turned to you, and you were
I
like,
didn't realize you were like, oh no, I've just hallucinated this
yeah,
entire
I just
situation.
thought, I it was so weird. It was so unusual. It's pitch black. It's not pitch black. There's some parking lot lights, but there's
Oh
not
no
a lot
no
of
no! One of the things
Pretty
I
dark.
hate about outside,
Right there,
it's
it's kind of
super
dark.
dark right there.
Yeah, so it was a guy, and he was wearing shorts and a T-shirt. And this is what I can see from the door. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And I'm like, that's not Brandon. Brandon's in the shop. What is going on?
Totally different body types.
Oh, I know. But I did not
You-
expect at all to see this. And I was like, Nicole, I need your help. And you came running, and we went outside. Because I just thought,
My
this guy could
favorite
be
thing about
violent or something.
my favorite thing about this scenario is you weren't like, I can handle it.
I guess I
I'm
could have
gonna
handled it,
need
but I
backup.
needed you to at least not to be like, he just walked away. So I just told you. So we go over there, and I was like, hey, what's up? And he goes, is this your motorcycle? And I was like, yes, because it's not technically,
For all
but it's not
intents
your
and for
motorcycle.
all intents and purposes, it is your
Yes,
motorcycle
basically, this
for
is
a
my
stranger
motorcycle.
sitting
It's-
on it. Yes,
his brain is, but that's too complicated to answer. So
it might have just
I
completely
was like,
derailed
no, it's
him.
Brandon's, and he would be like, oh, then
Oh,
I'll get off of it.
of it.
So I guess that may not a bad idea, but anyway, so I'll try it next time. In the mall.
It wouldn't be the first and will not be the last time that some stranger sitting
we're kind
on
of in
someone
a crazy
else's
we're kind of in a
parking-
crazy area, but we rarely have issues.
Yes,
for
that's
how
something that I
crazy
tell
it
people
is.
all the time. They're like, how are you guys doing on that location of your shop? And I'm like, look, this is where I grew up. This is
actually
totally
not
fine.
so bad.
It's not that bad.
So anyway, like I said, it's the old stadium, so it's not like the current stadium where there's fun stuff happening all the time. This
Yeah.
is like where time forgot. So anyway, our building is 100
Well, the
years old.
number of
That's
times
cool.
the
That's
number
cool.
of times I've gone into that stadium where I'm just like,
It's sketchy.
this is sketchy.
Yeah, it's very scary. It's like one of the most famous abandoned places. So anyway,
Urban Explore or Urban X.
Urbex. Yeah,
Urbex.
check him out on YouTube. He's great. He's like was that a ghost? And he's
And every time I go
He's
in there,
cool.
it's just like, oh, this is just a big empty place. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, wait, there's like 1,000 little rooms in here, too.
Yeah. So anyway, this guy, and I
Sorry.
thought, it's almost Halloween, and I thought maybe he has like a costume on, because the closer I got to him, I thought something's wrong. He's like dressed like a zombie. He had a gaping head wound.
The first thought I thought, too, was that has to be a costume.
I know.
Because number one,
It's just
the
too
blood
weird.
looked pink.
I know. He had a white shirt, and he had blood.
And it
So he had
looked,
blood.
it looked like purposefully
So he
splayed.
had let's tell it for the viewers, but he had a
Oh, yeah.
gaping head wound here, like not like gushing, but like actively some blood.
Actively some blood and also starting to clot.
Yeah,
like it
yeah.
had been a minute.
Well, definitely, and then like blood on his shirt. So he had like it looked too fake. It looked like how you would put fake blood on a
so
shirt.
it looked like he had pretended to do a nosebleed
Yeah.
and then had it on the side. So it actually didn't even match. But
I
then you
know.
notice that it's actually down the side of his face.
Yeah. So he had blood all over him basically, and then
and
as
no shoes.
As I got closer, I realized he has no shoes. He has no shoes. He has socks on, and they say "I love Jesus" printed all over them. But they also—that's not the weirdest thing about
It
these
is not
socks.
the weirdest thing.
The thing about his socks that were crazy is he had grass stains.
You
Like-
thought those were grass stains? That just looked like he'd been walking through mud and asphalt.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. But I literally do think some of it was grass stains. But he had been walking in
Yes.
these socks for like maybe days. Could have been days. That's the crazy thing about it. It could have been weeks. I mean, it was a very caked in amount of dirt, and Is everything?
Sorry, I'm trying to
everything's
get back
fine?
to our
The chat
to
part.
the chat.
So
Yes.
anyway, this is crazy, and I was like, and so I went. A guy across the street said, "Hey," he ran over from the bus stop, and he said, "Hey, you got to call the police." At this point in time, I knew Nicole was already calling the police. I just know Nicole. I knew like this guy was on the motorcycle and wouldn't get off.
And you already knew
I
that
didn't
I
even
was
think
going to be
about it.
pissed off at
I
the
didn't
beginning
even
of this
think
conversation.
about it. The police have been really bad, especially in this area. The police. I'm literally trying to say this as unbiased as possible because I know everything on earth has been politicized. But like ever,
I'm not. Am I a cop caller?
No, of course not.
So
You're a shot caller. 20-inch blade. Wait. We don't
we can't get demonetized.
So anyway, but ever since like the protesting and the Blue Lives Matter and all this stuff, silly stuff, like the cops have just not showed up, and they have this attitude on the phone. I know that like 911 operators are not necessarily the police, but the 911 operators have like a sense of like, why are you calling me? Like I'm not going. I'm not going to show up. And so like we saw.
Not only do I know they're not going to show up, I've stopped. First of all, I don't call the
crazy.
cops as a rule,
Yeah.
but also, if I've gotten to the point where I'm going to call the cops, I've already
know.
interacted with
I
those
know.
people that are in the situation, and so I've determined we really do need.
Yeah. So
something.
as soon as I saw that he was bleeding and you saw that he was bleeding and stuff, I knew you were already calling the cops. So when the other guy over there across the street calls the police or calls it 911 or whatever, I was like, I'm just gonna play investigation mode. This is funny because I joked about doing this. Sometimes I do this at Mecum. We go to the Mecum auctions. Sometimes if someone's talking about a motorcycle, I'll just walk over and guess what? I don't know anything about motorcycles. Tell me all about it. And I learn plenty of things. And I'm not like playing dumb exactly, but I'm just like not pretending that I know everything so that I get to learn some stuff. So that's what I was learning about this guy. I'm like, why should I call the police? And he says, oh, he's acting crazy. This guy's something's really wrong with him. And I think what he meant is his head wound. And so I was like, oh, good idea. We'll call the police. Don't worry about it. And he said, stay with these guys. They're going to get you some help to this guy. And then he just stands there like a little kid. Like, I'll stay with you now. And then he walked over. So I went and got Brandon because I was like, Brandon,
So
we're
I'm
gonna
now
need your help on
outside.
this one.
I didn't tell you what happened while we were outside. Just he and I were outside.
Couldn't have been more than a couple, maybe 30 seconds, right?
I
I ran in and got Brandon, and he came pretty quick.
I had enough time to have a conversation on the phone with
Yeah.
the people. Who were they called? Dispatch.
911. Yeah.
911. It was an unsatisfactory conversation.
Yep.
I won't divulge what really happened there, but essentially, it was
Well, then that means you exactly are going to divulge it. You're so bad at not divulging. Why do you even try?
Why do I even try?
No, let me divulge it for you. She was so upset, and everyone should be upset by this. This is so crazy how politicized and racist and everything has become. But the lady just said, "Is he white?" And that's
Now I need to make sure that everyone is listening. She didn't ask.
it's recorded.
She didn't ask what is his race.
Yeah, what does he look like?
Is he white, Hispanic, black? She said, "Is he white?"
Yeah, because I get
Dead
for, like,
sound on the phone.
when you call 911, like you should be ready to give a description and like what's happening and
Sure.
stuff like that. Because
It
if
is
that guy
a
runs
is a
down the
white guy,
street-
5'5",
Yeah.
shorter, blonde hair, white shirt, whatever.
Yeah.
It was not that.
No.
She didn't ask, what is he wearing? She
She
didn't
said,
ask,
we're only going
how
to
tall is
show
he?
up if he's the right race, and you guess. Look, I don't know. It was crazy. It was
based off of our experience, what
It
has
was
the answer?
It was disheartening to hear her just say it like that. Is he white? And then you say, well, excuse me? And she says, oh, I mean, is he white or black or Hispanic or whatever? It's just like, that is whatever.
There was plenty of
That
time
was
for you to say that before I had to
that was
interject.
upsetting, and it feels to me like the 911 operators. I mean, I'm sure it's a horrible job. Honestly, I would never consider doing that job. Not even for like one shift. It sounds horrible. It sounds like a very hard job to do.
So ultimately, I ended up saying, divulging the man's ethnicity, whatever,
White.
and
He
said,
was in fact.
I said, "Are you going to come? This man has blood pouring down the side of his face. He has no shoes on. I'm shivering out here
it was
in the
cold.
cold.
It was very cold. It's funny
And-
because right now it actually isn't so bad right
yeah,
now.
no, but
like,
this
it
was like heated grips.
It's like 40 degrees.
Yeah, this was heated grips territory,
Yeah.
and this man has a T-shirt.
For you motorcycle people, I'll translate. This is a level 2 heated grips.
Level 2. It is green heated grips.
You don't need a windscreen, but it'd be nice.
Anyway, so he's wearing a clearly just a t-shirt and shorts that he has pulled up over his
Yeah,
thighs.
like he was working out. It was weird. I don't know. Like he
I
was
definitely
just
think he was a
left the gym.
bodybuilder.
He looks like he just left the gym.
So that's why I thought maybe he'd been in like a grapple or,
My first thought was he got hurt playing rugby because his shorts were really short. But I don't know.
but then no shoes.
I know. You wear shoes for
And
almost all these.
I don't know if
activities.
you knew this,
Yeah.
but he had an empty McDonald's like catering is not really the right word,
It was
but like
the
a
larger
large
bag. Yeah, the paper
that
bag.
he pulled a crucifix out of.
I never saw that.
That I'm night blind, so I'm thinking,
What does that mean?
what the hell is this
Yeah,
man pulling
I don't
out of
know.
his
I
empty
don't know.
McDonald's
There was
bag?
some-
And so when I told the woman, I said, I think he's pulling something out of the bag. Oh, he's got a bag. And I was like, yeah, I think it's a crucifix.
I guess next time you just yell shots down and hang up.
I guess.
I don't know, or shots fired, or officer down, or whatever. Because it's just like, God, it's horrible. And I get
that
it.
woman,
like, thinking
that
about-
woman would have, while I'm outside alone with this guy, unless he was not white or whatever,
whatever the right race
Whatever
is.
the
I don't
right
know.
race is, yeah.
Yes, whatever it is.
would have
send
let
someone.
me get. She didn't say, "Ma'am, are you safe? Did you go
Yeah.
inside?" And nothing. She's just
She
like,
didn't. That's crazy.
and I was like, "Yeah, we're outside."
what's the
'Cause I kept-
dialogue become?
And I kept saying, I know this is an issue and he probably has a concussion or something because we are outside and it's freezing.
He
and
definitely
he has no
either
clothes on.
Currently has a
essentially.
concussion or used to have a concussion. Yeah, he. So anyway, I don't want to say too many details about him or whatever. But eventually, they did. I don't know if they showed
No,
up.
no,
You
I
think
don't. I think so.
an ambulance showed up and you flagged him down, and you think that was a coincidence?
It's either a coincidence or the way the paramedic responded to me flagging her down because they had the lights on but no
But
sound.
they beat the police, so I feel like
They beat the police. They usually come in tandem.
I know,
And
but I
she
think-
asked me,
Yeah.
"Did you also call the cops?"
Yeah, but I think that must mean that they
Dispatches them both.
I don't know.
Or
You're right.
they
I don't know
should.
the details about this, but yes, the ambulance showed up and then the police showed up later. And I thought, well, that's weird to just send the ambulance because what if this guy's like violent and there's no police anywhere?
And she seemed confused,
Yeah.
and it seemed like they had no intention of turning into our parking lot.
Yeah, that's weird too.
Until
they
I
just stop on the
literally-
street. Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't know, but they wound up taking him and wound up taking care of him. He said that someone hit him with a baseball bat in his arm. He kept acting like his
He
arm was
didn't
hurt.
know he had a head wound.
He didn't know. He said, my arm got hit by the baseball bat. And she's like, how about your head? And he's like, I don't know. He was very polite and like even said thank you to us at the end, which is really weird.
Yes, I was a little bit worried about the fact that he kept trying to shift through on Brandon's bike, stationary,
I know. It was crazy because
with his bare feet, because those
Yeah,
were
yeah,
supermoto
it does have, like,
pegs.
the-
They have
yeah,
like
the
grippies
sharp
on.
pegs. Yeah. Well, anyway, Brandon's bike was fine. This guy hopefully got some help. It was a little startling of an experience. What other things did I tease happening this week? Was that it? Just the scary. We had a guy with a gaping head wound. No big deal.
NBD.
I think that might be it. Did you? This is a segment that I was joking about having, but it was called Nicole's Last Sip. But it was when Nicole only has a little bit of beer left. She has now 1/6 of a beer, 1/7 of a beer. But so did you
I
want
think
to?
my Hemi is still outside. That's.
Your Himalayan
I
is
think
still
so.
outside. Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
it might
know.
be.
I don't know if Tony brought it in.
But
or
did
not.
you want to finish or do you don't care?
I
Are
wanna-
you calling it finished?
You know what, we
I'm
haven't-
not making you drink. I want you to be done with your drink. That's the details.
We haven't done any of questions.
Oh, do we have questions? I
Yeah.
didn't know. I didn't know.
I have.
I didn't hear the producer in my ear.
We're gonna ask the producer. That's me. We have both questions by Goozy Guy 36. I have a guess
Hello.
that is our Meekum friend,
Maybe I don't know. A lot of
or would
guys
he
are
be
probably-
GB Guy?
He is now he's something related to Moto Guzzi. Anyway, hello Moto Guzzi guy.
Hi.
The problem is I like to say Moto Guzzi like I say pizza with a kind of a T in
Are
the
you
center.
trying to start a fight
no,
right
no,
now?
No, but see, no, not with you especially. But what
Oh,
I'm
it's
saying
not
is,
with me. I'm not the one who says
But
it
the
wrong.
problem I have with the Moto Guzzi pronunciation is when you just say Guzzi, there's almost no good way to be like Guzzi because there's no lead up to it. Anyway, I hate it. I don't like abbreviating.
Okay,
anything.
Zach said I enjoyed my V85 ride.
Yeah, Zach just rode that yesterday.
Gootsy Guy said great show.
Great. Well, thank you. Maybe he's referring to something else. The Wire. Or Breaking Bad or
Tyler
something.
said I do video work for a job. If I wasn't 2 hours away, I'd come help out with a stream.
Oh
Look,
my God! It's not.
Dylan deserves a much better co-host.
It's not that we don't need help. It's not that we don't need help. Like we could probably use the help, but I think it's beyond help.
We have never met Gootsy Guy.
You would not believe when we were using the GoPro. So first of all, I tested this GoPro for 2 hours and it worked flawlessly. Just now it cut at 46 minutes when we did the one earlier. The GoPro from last week, if you had the power plugged in, see how there's slightly separate power. Well,
There was a bug.
I believe you. If they were plugged in the same power, they get all kinds of horrible sound, which I could probably simulate. I could probably simulate that right now. No, I can't.
Please don't.
I don't.
Don't.
But anyway,
touch anything.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Then we're like, fine, we're just gonna use a computer. The computer had all kinds of problems. We literally cut and
Here's the problem.
No, hold on. We cut and this part's important. We cut and resoldered the power supply before the show.
You know what? I could have told you that was my laptop.
No. I know it was. You were using.
Do you want to know why I
laptop.
replaced it?
I just bought a battery in July.
Because the battery didn't work.
No, I know, and I
The
bought a battery.
power supply
I bought a
didn't
battery in
work.
July. I had a new power supply. I went through my Amazon purchases, and I replaced all these parts, and they worked for a while. And when I handed it to Zach yesterday, it had 85% power, and then he's like, "But I don't feel like it's charging," and then it wouldn't turn on. It's crazy. What I'm saying is, yes, we could use.
We
the
work on
technical help,
motorcycles,
but also
and that's
it's a much deeper problem than you would assume.
Me personally?
No, this
because
person.
God, if I can worry about it,
This
I will.
person,
You know
whoever's
that.
offering technical advice, you don't know what you're saying. It's crazy. What else you got?
Brad said, "I
producer?
think the ghost turned off the lights in the back room." So, fun fact: a lot of
They're
times
motion
when we're
sensor.
staying here late, the motion sensor turns off and then turns back on.
Is it bad looking? Does it look fine? That's Quittin. It's Quittin time.
It's Quittin
this is
time.
what happens.
The ghosts are like,
This is
GTFO.
what happens at Quittin time. We turn off the music. We lock the door.
we
turn off the sign.
we do not do any of those things.
The door's unlocked.
We lock the doors.
The sign's
and turn
on.
the lights down low. No, we don't turn the lights off.
Get demonetized.
No one is
We're
going.
gonna get demonetized.
There's not one single robot out there that is
lose
like, "That's a
15
song I
cents."
recognize."
Not even human ears can recognize this. That's funny. Yes, all the lights are motion sensitive, which is great, and also sometimes
Yes.
not great.
So if you've never been here, I have an office that's kind of like off the side of the building, and the light will go off in there if I'm like sitting too still
yeah.
and I'm like working at the
It's
computer or whatever. And
Less
then
sensitive.
one of the lights out here will turn on after it's turned off, and I'm like, I'm by myself.
Yeah, there's no one here.
There's no one
what
else
happened?
here.
It's nothing. It's something blew over or whatever.
And then I'm like, great. Did a motorcycle fall over? Did a light fall from the ceiling? Whatever. And then I have to walk out here and be like, okay, I'm here.
Please don't murder me.
Don't murder me.
Okay.
I'm here by myself.
What other kind of questions?
Oh,
you
I
got
probably
there?
shouldn't be telling people I'm here by myself.
Do we have the doors locked? And we have cameras and all that other stuff?
Okay, so I'm going to close the live on my phone so I can go to where I have questions.
Is it the other one? The
No,
last
I
chat?
actually requested questions.
Oh, saved them. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So I was prepared to produce.
So Nicole, we talked about this before, but Nicole does Road Warrior Moto, mostly Instagram. I mean, it's a YouTube.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that the reason I don't do any technology for Shop Coffee is because I can't.
Shop Coffee.
Yeah.
This is Shop Coffee.
No, when I do Shop Coffee.
Oh yeah. You don't. It's not technically.
Do you know what I
advanced.
do with my day?
What's Shop Coffee? What I meant was I thought you were calling this Shop Coffee. Oh my God. So cut that. It's live. But so anyway, the Road Warrior Moto. We talked about this last time, where she has the anonymous, ask me anonymous, not gonna lie questions.
NGO.
And ask questions there. That's a great place, because then Nicole will remember them and write them down or copy paste them.
Someone asked me if we ever wanted to ride a motorcycle in India.
Of course, we would love to. We talk about this all the time.
We do talk about this all the time.
Yeah, our friend Bear, you should look him up. He's amazing. So it's Bear Houghton is his name, but he has a company called Motorcycle Sherpa, and they do tours with the Himalayan and different other bikes in Nepal and India. And what was the other one he was talking about? I'll never remember it.
Is it Pakistan?
No. I'll think of it, but one of those other countries around there, and he basically goes based on the weather. So if it's the rainy season or whatever, right, we'll just move to the other country and move north or whatever. And maybe it's Mongolia.
That's how I want to live my life.
Yeah, and basically it's not great here, so they'll do tours here, and he does tours there, so you can look him up. There was an article written on him in AMA magazine recently. He's a Renaissance man. He was just doing land speed racing, but he's a big motorcycle guy. And he invited us to go, and we were like, we're so busy with this shop. We just cannot see ourselves having 2 weeks to go.
If you ever wonder why Dylan and I sometimes vacation separately, it's because
We can't.
We can.
We can't both leave. Yeah, whatever. This is about the fun parts about the shop, but yeah, that's sometimes one of the negatives. What other questions do you have?
What's our favorite gear for each season?
This is funny because as a motorcycle shop owner, again, is that we try to stock the things that I like, but sometimes I have the gear and we can't get it.
Yeah.
So it's like they have an exclusive dealer thing or whatever. They only sell online or something. So we can't become a dealer for it. But so mostly what I have is funny. What were we talking about? That one's called like, no, I can't remember. It's something armor, Spartan armor, road armor. Remember Zach has the jacket.
Oh, you and Zach have a road armor. Road armor, and
Anyway.
It has like a Viking.
I just
guy's
tried it because I'm a big flannel guy. And
I'm a big flannel guy.
You are pretty big. So
What?
I meant into it. So anyway, I meant you like it a lot. What the heck? So anyway, flannel. So I found one that was like a protective flannel. So I was like, I'll try it. And that's like my main go-to thing for the summer. It's like a jersey material. It's very breathable or whatever. What I like in the
That's
winter,
what I was trying to tell Brad when he was looking at the flannels that we have, is that most of those are just mesh.
yeah,
flannel.
what you want if it ever gets cold at all, and by that I mean like even under 50.
I was explaining the wind chill thing to someone yesterday.
Because of the wind chill. It's the wind. The wind is the number one thing you need to worry about, and so
we wouldn't be good Midwesterners if we didn't say it wouldn't be cold except for the wind.
They say that.
Yes, we say that.
I don't want to include myself.
Who are you saying we?
You know how I feel about the Midwest. It doesn't make any sense. It's more the Mideast, really.
That's my entire personality.
The Midwest?
Yeah.
Your entire personality is Midwest? Yeah. You're always saying "ope."
Yes. Yes, I am.
She's
Excuse me.
Constantly saying
Sorry.
That's Canadian. Anyway, my go-to winter jacket is this Alpine Stars.
You're pointing off screen.
But I'm pointing for you so you can look at it. What's it called again? I'm pointing. It's for you. It's called Alpine Stars.
You made me snort.
Oh my god!
On live.
You made me ink. It's I don't remember what it's called.
Do you want me to go over there?
No, I don't think it says what it's called. Andes Dry Star.
It is Andy's Dry
V3?
because I have the women's
It
version
just
of
came
it.
to me like Epiphany. Andes Dry Star V3.
There's not a lot of things that. So here's my hot tip. There's not a lot of things that I feel like I want to own in women's specific.
It has a tight waist.
It's not even the waist. It's that the men's shoulders were just way too big for me.
So you have a similar one, Stella or Andes or whatever they call it.
It's just Andy's
Alpine Stars.
Alpine Stars, yeah.
Yeah. So that one is great because it has multiple layers. It has an internal like heating, warm weather. What do they call that? Like a down, like a vest built into it. And you can take it out.
A liner.
Maybe liner. And you can take it out. It's very waterproof and also it's extremely windproof. That is the number one.
I wore it all last winter and it snowed a couple of times that I was like, this is actually pretty good. What I still haven't figured out are winter gloves.
Yeah.
I have winter gloves and they're just very chunky. Yeah.
You and I have tried this. I did this last year. I wore snowmobile gloves.
So are mine.
It's pretty good. They're like Arctiva, which is another brand that we can get through one of our distributors. We don't like stock them in the shop. They have. I'm looking at the Torque ones over there. Oh, point. Sorry, but it's Torque has some.
I'm gonna fight you.
Torque has some,
and we're gonna
really,
get a lot of donations.
like bum fights or whatever. So it has a. They have some with a nice, really like a woolly fleece liner thing that are pretty nice. Torque is great gloves. Let's see. I can't think of other ones. Winter's tough. The search for winter gloves, you could search your whole life looking for the perfect winter gloves. Mm-hmm. I think that the snowmobile ones are pretty good. Here's the one major downside.
Brad did love the jacket that he got.
The one major downside of the snowmobile gloves is they don't have the real impact zones. They don't have like hard knuckles.
Yeah, kind of stuff. I mentally prepare for the fact that I do not have actual protection. Yeah. Although my summer textile gloves are also not very protective.
Mine. So the hard thing for summer, the difficult thing for summer gloves, which is like the least topical thing, right? We're leaving summer, but is to find something that's breathable but has knuckle protection. Has the I'm pointing to the palm, but the palm kind of because you're gonna hit like and you're gonna put out your hand, and so I do have these ones, the new Biltwell lightning bolt ones. What are they actually called? They're over there. Maybe you can see them in the background, but anyway, I wear those every time. They're probably in all my in the loop videos now, all my new ones. And
you can see that they exist in the background, but there's
they're the holy grail of breathable and knuckle protection. They also have Torque has one called the Huntington, and they have printing on it, so that's not for everyone. The camo ones I think are actually the best. They're the same thing, breathable knuckle protection. They're like $60. They're great.
The last thing, so two things. I have one more question that we're going to answer tonight, and then my thing is I have never found warm overpants, so I think I'm going to just go to Tractor Supply and buy overalls.
Yeah, coveralls.
It's
Coveralls or overalls?
I have coveralls. They're not insulated.
You have coveralls?
Yeah, that 32-degree ride that I did, I had so many layers.
The black?
No, my blue ones, my mechanic overalls.
Oh, no, I knew that. I knew that.
Yeah, the mechanic ones I have were fine.
Medium.
Medium.
Yeah. Well, it's about the wind.
Yeah, my problem with that is at the time I didn't have appropriate thin multi-layers. Now that I do, I could probably handle the 32 degrees a lot better. I mean, I think I did fine with that. It wasn't much, our commute isn't that long.
It's mostly wind. If you're concerned about, if you're a newer rider, I don't know who's asking that exactly, but if you're a new rider and you're caring about,
it's anonymous.
No one knows.
I could pay to find out.
If you're a newer rider and you care about that kind of stuff, it's about getting the wind off of you. So it's wearing something around your neck, that a gaiter or a scarf or something that protects from the wind.
Brad
getting the wind off.
has a great suggestion.
Go ahead.
Flannel lined jeans.
Yes, that's another one too. Flannel lined jeans are good to a point. Like you're saying about you don't have anything.
I just wear my really crappy rain suit over my clothes at this point for the wind.
For the wind,
and it definitely works.
Yeah. If it's like really cold, your legs can handle being really cold. Plus, you think about it.
But your hands and your feet can't.
Yeah, your hands are the number one. If your body gets so cold, that I definitely have been so cold to a point where I feel like this is getting dangerous. I can't make decisions and movements.
Especially after we put the heated grips on the Himalayan and my throttle was not quite in the right spot. So it was even a quarter turn before I got.
Am I pulling it?
Am I pulling
not?
it? Am I not?
You lose that.
So it's
motor
dexterity.
Skills.
Yeah.
Dexterity is good word. That's exactly right.
I have big words.
You got the words.
And I tried to.
so many words. So how about, speaking of words, is that all the words you want to answer?
No, I had the one more question that I thought we should answer. Someone asked me.
This is Nicole's last sip where we put the graphic on the screen. Nicole wraps up.
Chicka chicka ya. No, that's Spice Girls.
That's That's just rapping.
No, that was just Spice Girls. Anyway, the most west I'd ridden. I don't want to answer that question because it's not very far, because usually I go east.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about
the most west I've ridden. Dayton. Have you heard of it? We never go west.
We never go west. I mean,
No.
Xenia.
Well,
Just
it's
past
not
Dayton.
even Dayton. No, Xenia's this side of Dayton.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Really?
we've ridden to like Xenia, basically.
Is Oregonia?
20, 30 minutes. Yeah, Oregonia is more south. Oregonia is where the hill climb is. If you haven't heard of the Devil's Staircase hill climb, watch Biker Babe Beth's video on it. It's great.
We went the last 2 years, and I
We didn't
couldn't
go
get my
this
shit
year.
together to do it this year. But what?
It's a family podcast. You said the S word.
I'll say it like Zach does. Sheet.
He does say that? What? Because I never noticed. No, you're talking about Zach Sanderson, producer. No.
Sandy.
He,
Sheet.
we were just, because I was just talking about this the other day. Levi and I were talking about how I say, this is so funny. When he says shit.
You really
says,
see shit.
Yes. He says it in a way like, there's a.
I'm not saying a cuss word. I am
Yeah,
saying.
like a horse shit over there. There's a pile of shit from a horse. Can you go get your shit? And I was like, but I don't say that when I say.
You can't make me.
I'm sorry. Sorry. I thought you were done. When I say shit, I'm thinking stuff. Grab your pile of stuff, your clothes or whatever. Grab
and you
your
just
shit.
think like shit.
Grab your shit and go. And I feel like he does not mean that. He means like sticky feces. That's what I'm imagining. Oh no.
You know the one thing, or two things. We're not gonna talk about other.
Nicole has to picture it, so you just have this trick. Well, now I tell everybody the secret, but
Yeah, and everyone
you
knows
just
the
start
secret.
describing it. She's just like can't get it out of her head.
My imagination
Yeah, it runs wild.
is so good.
It's too strong.
Oops.
Oh
Sorry,
my
Zach.
Gosh. Okay, was that
No, the question. Oh, can't clap. The question that I really want to answer, because I
You
think
don't-
it's interesting between the two of us. The farthest you've ridden
For me, it's not really that. I mean, I'm assuming you mean like in a day.
in a trip.
Yeah. For me, really, it's not that far. The furthest I've gone is Pittsburgh and back. So I went Pittsburgh back in the same day. It was like a 9-hour day. I went for the show.
You went for the Pittsburgh Moto Show, or for the Cafe Racer Show?
No, it's called Glory Days. It's put on by Pittsburgh Moto. It's like
Got it. Yep.
this guy Kurt Desario. He's an artist. You should look him up on Instagram. He's amazing. Pittsburgh Moto is like their magazine or something that's somehow related to it. I'm not sure how it's all related, but it's called Glory Days. DAZE.
And why didn't I go?
You were here working. Yeah, so that was like a mini vacation. I was like, I'm going on vacation. I'll just drive there and back. And so I took my dad's Road King, and it was like the same time last year. It was normal during the day. It was like, this is actually really nice, like kind of hot. And then the sun went down, and I was like, I am freezing. I had to pull over at a rest
I remember you
stop.
texting me, and you're like,
And I was like,
it's going to be a minute.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to have to wait here till my fingers. And it was just the highway, so it's not like I'm taking turns or anything. It was getting dangerous.
Well, having ridden that route that I think you went, yeah, you go through a couple of valleys where you're like, it might be 90 degrees out today, but
Yeah.
it's cold when
and
the
it
sun is
got
down.
cold and the sun went down, or the sun was going down, and I'm like in a valley, like you're saying.
Because you went through Wheeling, right?
I mean, it's just
That
whatever,
section right
70,
there in the
yeah.
hills is actually really cold.
Yes.
regardless
yes.
of whether
I don't-
it's hot outside.
And I wasn't really ready for it because it was warm during the day.
Yeah.
And
That's
but
where people
not-
who worry all the time have layers
I was fine.
on.
I take time, but I had thrown a jacket in the thing, like I threw probably a flannel in the bag, and I was like, instantly put it on. I was like, this isn't enough, and I didn't have that warm gloves, so that wasn't even supposed to be a cold story, but it was. So that's not really even that far. How far do you think Pittsburgh is from here? 150 miles?
Pittsburgh
200?
is about 160 some odd miles. When we went to visit my family
So
in
that's
Pittsburgh,
only,
it was
that's
about
only
170.
300 or 400, 3,500 miles in one day. It's
In a
not a
day.
lot. You have done much more long distances than me. You took a trip recently that was almost 2,000 more miles on your bike. So it was there and then around a lot and back.
It wasn't around a lot
Virginia.
there, but yeah, I want to say it was about 560 there and 580 back. because
More
I-
there? Don't you think it was like, but I feel like you had like 1,900 or 1,500 more miles
Oh no, those were other miles
riding around.
here when I got back. You're thinking about when we did the service on the lowrider?
Oh, you just mean I wasn't counting them as a
No.
trip. Okay,
No, no.
so how many miles was that trip? 1,000, 1,200?
1,100. It was almost 1,100.
And then when you go to Bro every year, it's right around that too.
It is 1,001.
One more mile. So your trips have been 1,000, which is significantly more, almost.
They're
3
never
times.
in one day. I feel like I do about 300. Can do 300 in a day. I'm sure I could do more when I get a windshield for the lowrider.
That is kind of my thing. Is that Nicole is trying to do her kind of riding that she like thinks about and plans for is trips, multi-day trips, or camping and stuff like that. I'm not against that at all, but that's not like what I wind up doing. What I wind up doing is riding a bunch of bikes, short distances.
Sure, that's why I always volunteer as tribute for test rides, is that I at least today got in 20 miles or whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
That wasn't just riding here and home.
Yeah, it's very hard for me to know how many miles. Like we got some interesting data some very interesting data
It's a data point.
when we started
Now we're going to chart the data points.
when we started with Moto Guzzi. They gave us some information saying like the average that people ride in a year is 3,000 miles. And when you hear
in
that,
1 year?
yeah, in 1 year, average.
That sounds low.
I know. Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is that your first thought is, man, that's crazy. That's low. Because you could, the average I think most people think about for their cars is like 15. So if you had a car for a year and you put 15,000 miles on it,
The number in my head from when I had a car was like 30.
30,000 in a year? No, that's too many. You would be putting on some serious miles. No, it's more like 15.
I mean, I
people
went
use it
back and forth to Florida a couple times a year.
a couple times a year.
When I first got the Fit, I did.
That could be it, but that's not typical. I think typical is around 15. That's like an average.
Do I stay still?
You're not typical. So you're not typical. But 3,000 does seem low, right? But I feel
3,000
like
definitely
it's-
seems low.
When I tried to compare
a
that,
week could be 1,000 miles.
when I tried to compare that, well, of course you could put 3,000 on in a week if you really wanted to, but which is more than most people ride in a year.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's true. So it was like 3,000 or 4,000 or something, and I think that's an interesting fact, and it makes me. It's interesting to me because I thought, well, how many miles am I putting on my main motorcycle, which is a Interceptor. That's a scrambler, and I've got builds on it on YouTube and stuff too. But my main Interceptor only has like less than 2,000 miles on it, And
Really?
like, yeah. And so, but that's hard for me to judge because if I was riding one bike every single time I was on a motorcycle, it'd be easy to count, right?
Yes, I actually had someone when I was telling somebody that I had, I think, 1750 on the Himalayan, and then I bought it in December. They're like, "Oh, in 8 months you only put." I'm like, one of my bikes.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. It's a funny, and I don't mean it in any way bragging. I'm sure you're joking about that kind of thing because, like,
No, I feel like I have to defend my position.
like when we got the I'm pointing at you. When we got the classic, I put 200 miles on that in the first weekend. So like that's 200 miles that I didn't put on my own bike.
Yeah.
And then I put another 100 miles on the Scram.
Yes, we do ride other people's bikes more than I think most people ride other people's bikes.
Our demo bikes, we feel very strongly about test rides. I can't imagine ever buying a bike without doing a test ride. Maybe if it was like it's not out yet, like this cool new bike that's not out yet, then you want to sign up for it. Like I got to be the first to get it. But like, can you imagine buying a Himalayan without ever having ridden it? Like, what's it like? Maybe I hate it. Maybe the seating position is horrible. Then I spend all my time fixing it. So I just think that's
I couldn't
weird.
imagine buying a bike without test riding it,
Yeah,
unless
a regular person. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. A regular non-motorcycle shop owner would not do that.
I definitely feel like I could ride something that if I was between two bikes, I would say I've ridden the one of the two and decide on the other.
Yeah, no, definitely. Or yeah, this is close enough, and I'm sure I just want these handlebars or a different year
Yes,
or
it's
something.
particularly between like the Interceptor and the GT, I could say if the only thing you're worried about is being able to have clip-on handlebars, ride the
Yep.
Interceptor if that's all you have available to you, and then if you know you want clip-on handlebars. Do I still suggest you should ride both of them? Yes.
Yep. Okay, so I promised we were going to do about 45 minutes, and we've done that twice. So it's 40 minutes now on our second one.
Whoops.
So I appreciate everyone sticking around. Hopefully, I have no idea a sense for the time. Maybe this has gone on too long and is rambly. Nicole did take her last sip, so that's about when we said we were going to do it. So your answer for this question, to make sure this person gets their answer. My answer is not that long, which per trip is, let's say, 350 miles, and yours is like a little over 1,000 per trip, the longest trip you've taken.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're not. I don't think either one of us. I know I don't really care too much about doing like an iron butt. It just sounds like a very
no! I have
excruciating thing.
never. I do not ever have any aspirations to do 1,000 miles in a day.
It's 24. Yeah, if you don't know what that is, it's you get on a motorcycle and you have to record it. I guess you don't have to. You can.
You
but
like
to
get
be,
gas
to be an
station
official
receipts.
to
and
be an
stuff.
official thing, you have to. Usually, people use the receipts as when they first get gas. And then you have 24 hours to do 1,000 miles. So it's excruciating. The people who have done it have been like, my back is killing me, my butt. I have to. You're like, you look like you've been
with
through
the
war.
lowrider now. I do feel like I could probably do it.
That's
my
impressive.
blood sugar would be like,
I know,
you
right?
thought.
And you really have to plan about eating. We've watched videos. There's plenty of videos on YouTube. What was the girl that we recently watched? I cannot remember her name. She's blonde. She's from like Milwaukee or Michigan. She went over the Mackinac Bridge.
Oh, for Pete's sakes, we're friends. And you just asked me too fast.
I cannot remember her. It's a weird first name, and I can't remember what it is.
Okay.
Anyway,
keep talking.
She did one, and she was like planning out like power bars. Now I was where I'm supposed to eat. Now, and she was doing all the recordings.
Her level of planning is a level of just in my life I aspire
Impressive.
to be.
And then she came back. She has kids too, and she came back. So it's 24 hours. So it's not really like that long of a trip. And she came back, and she's like, tomorrow my kids have to do this, and she like had to be back. That was an impressive video, and she just like checks in on GoPro. It's not like a 24-hour video.
Oh, for Pete's sake, I am going to be in so much trouble that I cannot remember her name.
Oh no, I think I don't know how I would find it either. But she went to Babes Ride Out with you.
Yes, please make me look like a terrible friend.
No, I thought maybe you could look it up that way on Instagram. And she had a Sportster.
No, she had. I don't know.
Okay, whatever.
But now she has.
If you've ever done anything like this, it's like doing math out in front of people.
I know. Look, this is why I don't do things in front of
forgetting
people.
someone's name or forgetting like who was in that movie. Like who's the guy that plays Forrest Gump? And like everyone's like, "Are you kidding me?"
I can't even think of the person's name who played Forrest Gump.
It's Tom Hanks. I mean, it's just the most obvious answer, but that's why I said it. So anyway, look at you. It's clearly time for Nicole to be done. She had her last sip. So is there anything else you wanted to say to wrap this up? I really appreciate.
Wit Mesa.
That's perfect. That's how you do it. See, do you know how that works? I watched a podcast, by the way. Oh, good catch. That's going to be fun to watch the video. She was like, what? Got it. But
It's the remote all over again.
oh, my God. That is not a joke that anyone else would ever appreciate. Anyway, the quickest version of that story is one time I was like, hey, throw me the remote, and Nicole did it. And like perfectly landed on the thing. It's not a good story for anyone else, but that's that.
WHITMEZA. Follow her on
Mesa.
Instagram.
Not enough people follow her.
No.
I remember I was like, I assume everyone knows about her, and one of her videos didn't have as many views as I expected. And I was, how are people not watching this? Her content's great. She's very good, interesting.
She's a
personality.
lovely human being.
Yeah, she's amazing. But anyway, she does the iron butt stuff. That's the one video that I was talking about.
And she
watching.
has those rural road.
Oh no! Don't even try to say it. Rural. Don't try to say it. Let me here. You move your mouth and I'll say it for you. Rural roads.
Of Wisconsin.
That worked out too good.
That I really wish we had here in Ohio. But what I'm going to do are I have this route that I didn't tell you about this. I have this route from Wheeling, West Virginia. That goes along,
let it go. Go ahead.
this route that starts in Wheeling, West Virginia,
Obviously.
on the Ohio side of the river, follows the Ohio River all the way to Cincinnati,
That's fun. That's good. Good riding.
goes through Portsmouth.
Okay.
The one place I would feel unsafe in the state of Ohio.
Portsmouth?
Yeah.
Why?
I know someone from there, and she was like, "Don't go out at night."
What?
I'm like, "I'm from the city."
No, people say that about like Akron. They're like, oh, you don't know the mean streets.
They
They
say-
like, calm down.
They say that about Columbus, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
calm down. People are silly about their towns.
I
Anyway,
love being downtown by myself.
Anyway, fight it out in the comments. But what I was going to say about the people watching, if you've watched any amount of this, I really do appreciate you. This is just Nicole and I hanging out. We're trying to make it fun. I said, number one, it has to be fun.
We're gonna make Beth and Gina do it.
Oh, are they? You want to bring them in? Anyway,
We're gonna make them do it.
at one point, that's fine. That's fun. But what I was saying is it's just us hanging out, having fun, winding up our week.
And we both talk too much, so we should.
Thank you for being here and doing that with
We're
us.
gonna do it.
Send us questions in if you think about them throughout the week. If you were thinking we didn't clarify something, or you want to hear more about this stupid remote story. It's not that it's stupid. It's that no one else would think it's funny. It's some dumb thing that happened between us. It's stupid. It's between us.
Some dumb thing.
It was very cool, but nobody else is going to think so. It was one of the coolest things I've ever
It's like those
seen
stupid
happen.
videos when they like flip the bottle upside
Yeah,
down.
it's like, who cares?
And they're
Everyone
like,
does that. I've seen
"Yes!"
100 of those. I've seen probably more.
This was
than
more
that.
impressive.
This was way more impressive. Okay, so anyway, thank you. We love you. Thank you for watching. You're not ready in your relationship with the viewer yet. Sorry.
If you have met me, I'm a emotional robot, and those emotions are not available. For
I do
the
not
public.
feel emotion not found. So anyway, if you got a fun bike that you want Nicole to ride, bring it by. Maybe Nicole will ride it, and then
What? Maybe Nicole will ride it.
it's not called maybe when Nicole will ride it. It's called Nicole will ride it.
Nicole will ride it.
And then check out the. We did not discuss that
I'm
name.
workshopping.
Nicole will ride it.
You know, like Nicole.
Oh, like the contraction Nicole
Yeah.
apostrophe L.
Yeah.
Nicole will.
Nicole will ride it.
Will, but the W and an
We're
I
working
are
on it.
missing. It takes a lot of explaining to get the name. So anyway, it's not written
Story
out.
of my life.
It was written out. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you have more ideas or a suggestion for a drink, we would love to hear those things. Thank